Hey, welcome everybody to another expert interview. We are kicking off IBSx week, I need to say that right, with Greg Ugaldi, and we're also going to have John McGeary joining us soon. Greg, how are you today?
Good. It's we're between snowstorms up here in the Northeast. So,
oh, I know, man, it's cold. I 10 degrees because we took our trip up to Pennsylvania this week, and yeah, it was definitely cold. And you're right, there's more snow coming. We're heading your way right now. We're on the side of the Pennsylvania Turnpike coming to see Greg Ugaldi and company up in Connecticut.
Tell them to give us a beep, right?
Oh, you know what? I have an air horn. We should do that one day. I should use it as the gong, like when we got to pull a guest that's just going too much, right?
That's right.
Give him a big honk. Well, listen, everybody, thank you for joining us. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Why are we live on Twitch, Greg?
So that we can capture some of the younger audience as well.
That's right. Because of Dave Cooper Live, we are bringing you the people and the processes that are building it better. Our guests and topics include building systems to building science to the building codes to the building tech made to use it better. We are always seeking out the best and the brightest in the construction industry and discovering all the ways that innovative buildings come to life. And today's going to be a little bit different because we've been leading up, Greg, all the way from a couple weeks back about IBSx, and it's finally here. We have so much going on. There's great keynotes going on. John McGeary's only a week away from getting some sleep. It's going to be great.
That's exactly right. And I'll tell you, there's over 300 exhibitors out there waiting for everybody to contact them. They're dying to hear from you.
Well, they definitely are. They definitely are. So why don't we not drag this out? We're going to have a sneak peek into IBSx with John. So, Greg, why don't you do the introductions?
Sure. Let's bring John back. Your audience state is very familiar with John McGeary. He's our senior vice president, and he's in charge of all business development, and his team is tremendous. And when we decided, you remember, we actually came on your show and we pulled the plug and decided that we were going to transition into a virtual experience. And it was critical because a lot of these tools we're going to be using forever. It's not just a one-off. So John's team was responsible for putting together what we call IBSx. And today now, is the final step, he's going to walk us through exactly what you want to do this week to take advantage of all these resources.
I love it. Let's bring him in. I can't wait anymore. I want to see this. I want to see the resources. Hey, what is happening, Mr. John McGeary? How are you today?
Hey, guys. Hey, Dave. Hey, Greg.
Bash.
Thanks for having me. You talk about the cold weather, right? What better thing to do than stay out of the cold, right? Get in front of your computer and participate.
That's right.
I love it.
Right. You couldn't have teed me up better for that.
That's right.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Hey, listen, grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, grab a drink, whatever your delight is. This is going on for days and days and days, and then you'll be able to watch this stuff, John, for long after. So why don't you go ahead and give us the rundown on everything that's happening, where you're at, and tell us a little bit of how your stress level is doing. That's got to be stressful.
Oh, man.
One of the biggest events in the world for builders.
It's all in the details, gentlemen and audience. It's a wild ride, but it's fun. It's great. It's been really interesting. More importantly, we've been able to test things and do things differently because it's all new. Some of it transfers over from the live event, but not all of it. We're testing some new things this year. We're really excited, and we're trying to bring the best of IBS online. But like I said, we're trying a couple of new things, and you're definitely going to want to experience a few of these things that I'll walk you through. I think the most dynamic thing is really the different ways you can interact with the exhibitors, and you're really going to want to check out from the top down. The people who have platinum booths have really immersive experience. You're going to see some 2D, 3D applications. You're going to use your mouse to kind of walk your way through the booth and everything. There's so much to discover and learn and connect with, just like the website says. So I figured why don't we just kind of take a walk through the website, and I can walk you through some of the highlights. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. Let's do it. Let me pull it up.
All right. All right. You see my screen there?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, good. So you've got your homepage, and again, discover, learn, and connect. So discover is everything you can do about discovering the latest products in the home building industry, obviously, in new and different ways. Learning all the best education that we have at the live IBS show is all online. And then, connecting with other people. And one of the ways you could do that is through our shop talks. So I'll kind of, get more into that there. And, we are literally right now, you guys are getting a little bit of a sneak peek because we're putting all the final touches on the site when it opens up tomorrow morning. So I'm hopefully going to be able to show you a couple of booths, what they're going to look like, quite frankly, before anybody else gets to see it. But we're in development, we're building everything, so hopefully it'll work, and we'll see how it goes. But so when you go across the top of the page, you come in, hopefully you've registered, right? So if you haven't registered yet, it's virtual. You could do it at any time. So you would register. Registration is free for members, just to go through the exhibits.
Right.
And it's a discount for members for the full all access pass, and just a little bit more for non-members. But there's a lot of content, a lot of great education there. So just walking through, one of the first things you're probably going to want to do is just look at the overall agenda, right? And it, what I love about this site, it's so easy. It's so what we call intuitive. And you want to see what's going on day one? Here's everything that's going on, right? And very easy for you to see, right, what's open to everybody and what's not, and what that all access pass gives you. So I know, a lot of people in the industry are really excited about the opening ceremonies with Mike Rowe. So,
Even Dave.
Oh man, right? So you just access there, and it's really cool. We have what we call these stages. So at I believe it's 11 o'clock tomorrow, you'll be able to, that will cue right in. You'll be able to see that interview, and I think our chairman Chuck Falk's going to be giving an interview there, an intro on that one there. And then you get into all that great education that if you've signed up for the education, you have access to it all through the end of March. So if you miss something this week, don't worry about it. You'll be able to gain access to it for 6 weeks after the show. So we're really excited about that. We've got our master sessions that are intensive education programs that really dive deep into subjects. This is what we're really excited about this year, and this is open to everybody. You don't need an all access pass for this. Our shop talks, where you really get a chance to talk to other people within the industry about topics. So for example, if workforce development has been an issue, and you can find out the other solutions you've had to people everyone needs for the job site, you can just find out during one of those shop talks. Just join in there. The Game Changer keynote session, another one. This one I'm really excited about. If there's anything you sign up for, this one I really like. Cheryl Connolly from Ford, she is a future. So she's going to talk about what the future holds, not only for our industry, but everything from soup to nuts, moving forward into the future. And I think in this post-pandemic world, people will be really interested to hear about that. So again, that's just a few of them. And then you can go through your days, day 2, day 3, day 4. And then here's what you're really going to like. Okay, so I'm going over to this other tab here where you're going to sign in. You're going to go to your dashboard, right? Once you sign on to the site, you go to your dashboard, and all those things you're interested in, you're going to put on your calendar.
Yeah.
So every day, right?
Excellent.
When you sign up, you're going to have those things that are most interested to you. And like for me, obviously, I want to see the keynote with Mike Rowe, right? I'm really interested in the design and detail trends. and social media engagement. And those are things, if I have time, I want to check those out. But you know what? The team and I are running the event. If I don't have time to see these, I'll be able to go check them out later.
Yeah.
Right. Because they'll all be on demand after the show.
Love it. And where will they live after the show on demand? Just come back to this same site and there'll be another link to get to everything?
Just come back to this site.
Well, you know what? Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, so my first pass through, I went with all the Dave Cooper live stuff right off the bat. So my calendar's pretty full already. But then I'm going to round it out with your Mike Rose and, everybody else after Dave.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hey, we have several events. So that's a good point. Let's say you knew somebody was speaking, John. How do you find somebody you're interested in listening to that's an industry that you're, part of and you want to find only that event?
Yeah, so you could do that a number of different ways, right? See this education tab I'm on?
Yep.
And we just and what we did too is we also made it easy for you to see what's open to everybody, what's actually live, right? So we are testing some actual, live content that, during that time, it's happening right then and there. Same thing with the live education. To answer your question, Dave, speakers. If there's a speaker that you're looking for, you can sort it by speakers.
Okay.
Click on that for a minute. Right.
There's Al.
Yep. You've got.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
It just all fans out. So if you're looking, if you hear, I heard someone was speaking and I don't know where they are, you can just kind of look them up this way. Then you could go to the general session stage. This is where you'll find Mike Rowe and the 3 other keynotes that we have. Rob Dietz will be doing his economic forecast on this stage, right? So it'll appear there. It's all just very clean, easy to find. This last one that closes the event on Friday is a really good one too. Dex Torek Barton. He worked with SpaceX. He's a communications director, and he's really insightful. And what's great about this is that we've got people from the inside the industry and outside the industry, just perspectives on the overall market. Obviously, our market, the home construction market, and then outside the market. So it's a really good mix of people. Talked about we've got the Game Changer stage, which is part of the All Access Pass. Right here, you talked about where do I find all these great sessions afterward. All you have to do is click on demand. All the sessions that are part of the All Access Pass, they'll be put on the site the following day. So everything you view on Tuesday will go on demand on Wednesday. And then everything that we're viewing on Wednesday will go on demand Thursday. So it's all cumulative towards the end of the week.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep. We have an international attendee program. And something new we're trying with the site is the Dealer and Distributor Day. So we're having one day for dealers and distributors. That's on Thursday. So we've got sessions and content and all, great things and networking that are designed for that group on that day to try and really kind of help them schedule their time and give them a specific day when they should go to the platform.
So, that's a big deal. So let's talk about, the associates and the vendors that are here. I want to interact with a vendor. I want to see what special events vendors have going on. What kind of giveaways the vendors are doing this year. Is all that still part of this? Yeah.
So you look at our exhibit hall here, right?
Yeah.
All right. Exhibits. So if you're just looking to see what's new in the industry, we get all the manufacturers, the suppliers in the industry, everyone exhibiting an opportunity to focus on that new product that they want our audience to see. So if you click on new products, right, there will be a list here, right? And this will probably, here you go. Here's all the new products introduced to the industry in 2020.
Wow.
That our exhibitors want to present during the show, right? And so you just kind of, you put your mouse over, so forward, right? So this is for the Ford trucks that our members would be most interested in. 3D printing product evaluation, that's kind of cool new technology. You know, a 32-inch kitchen workstation from Zhuhai, that's one of our Chinese exhibitors. Hurricane glass, I mean, it runs the gamut of a wide range of products and services. And Greg, I think you mentioned in the beginning that we have over 300 companies. I mean, we're going to have over 350 exhibitors brands on the platform, including all the exhibitors from KBIS. So your registration into IBSx gets you access to all those KBIS exhibitors as well, all in one place.
I love it. And just so everybody understands what KBIS is, John, why don't you, for those that may not know, I mean, a lot of people, if you haven't been to IBS or the show, you know, you don't hear KBIS as much as you hear the NAHB name in IBS.
Yeah, no, and you're right. It's the kitchen and bath industry show. You know, we've been co-located with them for some years now. Great synergies there. So, you know, you could check out all the great kitchen and bath products that are represented on in that show in one exhibit hall, right? So swag and specials, just want to mention that real quick. You're definitely going to want to check this out. These are specials. You know what? You know, during the live show, you might walk by someone's booth and they're giving away a whole bunch of free stuff and free things. This is a version of that. They've got discounts on products. You might be register for, like, you know, a contest or something. You know, there's like this platinum business order offer from American Express. Here's a chance to win a powered bicycle. You know, all sorts of great things. You're definitely going to want to jump in here and see what the exhibitors have to offer in terms of the swag and specials.
I love swag, man. I can put some of those bikes on front of the RV here. We can showcase that all over the country. That's fun. Love it. That's pretty cool.
Yep. And then we've got live events. So exhibitors themselves will actually be doing live demos. So there's the live event schedule. Just click on that. And if there's something you want to jump in on, you know, just look at that schedule. See if that's going to come up for me now.
See, John, check this out while you're doing that. So when I go to Dave Live on Saturday, you know, in the mornings, here's my coffee cup that I use.
Awesome.
I have to say, last year in Vegas, you guys were giving out coffee mugs, the little or short ones. We use those all the time between coffee and drinks or whatever else we're doing. Those were some great giveaways. Love it. You got to take that flag out so you don't poke yourself in the eye when you drink out of that one. I love it. So, all right, John, you got some more you want to show us? I can go back.
Yeah, just a few more things.
Go ahead.
So, you know, as with the live show, which would have been in Orlando, Florida, well, we have the official show homes, right? So you've got the new American home and the new American remodel. Obviously, we can't bring people through the homes, but we've done a lot of such great footage, such great interviews.
Yeah.
You can walk through the whole tour of each one of these homes, or you can just get, you know, what you're most interested in. So if you want to hear about the kitchen, you can just kind of hear about the kitchen. So you can really kind of dive in terms of what you're most interested in. And you know, just one other feature I want to mention again are those shop talks. You're really going to want to get in there, and that's going to be your best opportunity to, you know, based on whatever topic you're most interested in, hearing what other people are going through in the industry, you know, whether it's the general pandemic or anything else. Like, look at what they're covering: 55 plus housing, design, green initiatives, remodeling, sales and marketing. I mentioned before, workforce development. And if you're interested in those topics, you'll be live via Zoom, and you can hear what, you know, the solutions that other people are finding, you know, during the last year. And you can really, you know, what better than to learn from your peers, right?
That's right.
So that's your opportunity there.
Love it, love it, love it. I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, we have our own panels. You know, I did an interview with Mark Farmer, who wrote "Modernize or Die" with the NAHB, and that's going to be on there. So if anybody's interested in hearing from Mark Farmer, and Greg and I are going to get into that in a little bit here. Then there's Modernizing Construction, February 9th, 7:30 to 8:10 p.m. So we got a lot of stuff going, and I have a Tech Bites as well. I had to plug it. I mean, you're talking about it, and so if you want to type in that search button, Dave Cooper, you should be able to see all the things we're doing. We got three or four events this year, which is great, and I have to say thank you to all you guys for trusting in me to host some of those events. It's a lot of fun.
No, that's great, and we thank you for that, and we're looking forward to it all. We're looking forward to what you're doing and everything else. So we're excited. We're a lot of blood and sweat, but we think it's all worth it. We think we put together a site that people are going to enjoy, and we're looking forward to launching everything tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you know what? For sure. So tomorrow is the kickoff. If you haven't registered yet, why? It's not hard. We're sitting at our computers all day. Just click the links and register.
Yeah.
You know, but you definitely want to attend. There's going to be a lot of great things going on. And, you know, during this pandemic and everything else, we always need to be supporting each other. But in these times, even more so. The IBS used to be a huge show, you know, like used to be, I should say, still is. But it was a big in-presence show that so many of us looked forward to. And I truly, truly believe that each one of you out there loves our industry. So join us. Take part in what's going on. Win yourself an electric bike and some swag and an NAHB coffee mug, because all those things are going to be happening. We're just doing it a little bit different this year. And I use the term "we" because we're in this together. All right, John, let's say hi to a couple people, and then unless you've got any more great news for us,
you know,
bigger than
the only
that.
thing I can tell you, I just looked as you guys were talking. We have over 26,000 people pre-registered for this event.
Yes.
26,000.
So the excitement's out there. People are, you know, they're excited. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people on it. I think, the industry's really going to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I agree. And hey, so when's the keynote with Mike Rowe? Let's put that up here one more time, because all right. First of all, before you do that, you know, Mike Rowe was actually even in a Super Bowl commercial last night. I can't remember.
No, I missed that.
I'm standing there. He was in one of the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if you don't know Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs and some of the other things that he's doing, but he is such a proponent for the blue collar worker.
Yes.
I mean, a big proponent and bringing young people back into the trades. So I couldn't imagine a better keynote speaker. And he's just funny.
Yeah, he's going to be great. He's going to be absolutely great.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll probably do some recaps on this, because Dave Cooper, we're going to be watching everything the NAHB is doing, and we're going to bring some highlights through the week, you know, and recaption. So, John, when is Mike Rowe speaking? Sorry, I asked you like 10 minutes ago.
Tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock.
11 a.m. tomorrow morning. All you got to do is go to the website. It's in the ticker below and register.
Great way to kick everything off, for sure.
Heck yeah, man. Coffee with Mike Rowe, 11 a.m. Eastern time, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
Perfect. So Eastern time, 11 a.m. for everybody out there. All right, let's get to a couple quick hellos. I know there's some people that are saying hello. Damien S. says, hi, guys. What's happening, Damien? Thank you so much for joining us. You got a question here. Hey, Dave, do you reach out to the Twitch audience by having their peers on your podcast? You guys are probably younger than me, but older than the Twitchers. We are definitely older than the Twitchers. I don't know about younger than you, Damien, but if you know some Twitch folks, let's have them on. Let's talk about gaming. Let's talk about how that works with us in the BIM world, the virtual reality world. In fact, let's invite them to watch IBS, because there's going to be a ton of that happening. And they'll probably sit there and say, yeah, we are old, and teach us something. So what the heck, right? Who knows?
I watch Dave Cooper on Twitch now.
You do?
Just so that I get the experience, and people come back. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is.
It's great.
Cool. I'm getting trolled on Twitch now. So people, just the comments of, hey, you want to be famous on Twitch? I'm like, yeah. Why not? All right. George Ryman's out there. Good morning from Phoenix, Arizona. What is happening, George? All right. Buzz Howard, sir. Hey, Buzz, how are you this morning? And just so everybody knows, Jennifer in the comments is putting up a lot of the show notes and links, video content for inbound marketing. This is one of our events that we're doing. This is all because John had worked so hard, so I have some spots taking advantage of System Built Construction for the custom homes on Thursday, February 11th. And we're going to repeat these a few more times. The Modernize or Die, which we talked about a little bit with Mark Farmer, February 9th. But we'll reiterate after the show. All right, John, you can stick around. I'm not sure if you have time to stick around, but you can stick around and we'll bring you back in at the end. But if you got to run, I kind of get it. There might be
we're putting finishing touches. I usually love to hang out with you guys and close it. But today I'm going to take off, get the site ready for tomorrow morning. And as always, we really thank you guys and your support. We look forward to seeing you on the IBSx tomorrow morning.
I know it. I love it. I love it. Greg, let's give him the chance. IBSx, IBSx. Come on. Where you at, Greg?
IBSx.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
I love it. I love it. All right, John, listen. So we appreciate you taking a few minutes coming out. Know you're busy. Look forward to the recap of how the show went afterwards. We'd love to have you back on just to talk about all the successes and failures, right? I'm sure we'll learn some things too.
Yeah, we're going to learn a lot. That's for sure.
Love it. Love it. All right.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John. You have a good one. All right, Greg, here we go, my friend. I mean, let's kick it off. One of the hot topics, and I'm going to leave the IBS banner link in the below, and we're going to keep referring back to it.
Sure.
But let's get into this. Lumber costs. Where are we headed right now? Are we getting better or are we getting worse?
Well, it's funny because how many times would you say in our monthly updates have we talked about it? I would say every one, right? There's no question.
For the last couple of months, yeah.
Right? Remember, we started off with about 170% increase from last March to the fall to August, September. Well, what we had, just as a refresher for everybody, we had a pause in that and we saw it start correcting downward where we needed to be. And a big part of that, as we talk to the government, as we're talking and finding out, is that people actually started planning their building and their ordering in accordance. They paused. Well, that relaxing of demand allowed the supply side to come up. And so when everybody kicked in again, it just drove prices right up again. Supply demand just pushed it right up. So right now we are on a full court press and attacking everything that we can. So we're talking to the administration as well as we're on Capitol Hill with our legislators and senators. We have to hit it on all prongs. You and I have talked about geofencing in the past. That's where we take a lot of the lumber yards, the major yards around the country, and we put a virtual fence around them. Every legislator, every governor, everybody that comes within that area is hit with information, why it's a problem. If you're not careful, it's going to disturb housing in such a way that we're going to see you're going to see the economy start to stumble if we're not careful. So we have a legislative advocacy push. We also look into the different possibilities. Is there any litigation that's out there? Any possibilities that we need to follow up with there? Where contracts and things need to be honored, and always looking for housing affordability and keeping our customers. And that's what the market is all about. Our customers and their demand. Public relations, a big piece of it, informing everybody. And so we are hitting on some of the common themes in just different ways. And that is, we need to work this thing out with Canada, right? Between these companies that own lumber yards and production companies on both sides of the border, very serious that we need to make sure to get the best working relationship that we can. We need to really get the government, even during this pandemic, to loosen as many of the restrictions that lumber yards are seeing. A lot of them make sense for health and safety first, But overall, we have to be able to knock down the barriers that just aren't really necessary. Because what happens if we don't, we can't control and work together to try and work through this. Lumber yards, they really talk openly about their fear that if we have them gear up to what we would need to do right now to meet the demand, that they would be left holding the bag, so to speak, in the long haul. So we need them to do all of that because we need to get the country through this and the economy through this. The last piece, Dave, that I'll mention to that is the national force and the ability to even dabble into those areas and increase production by working our own lands harder than we have been. You put all those things together, and we should see this effort across the country. Everybody, all hands are on deck, start driving the prices down. The fact of the matter is, if you look at, you'd call it the smart street money, right? You look at futures and what's happening. We are seeing declines as we head into March and April, May. We start seeing it coming down by people that are betting on the market to see that. That's not foolproof, but we are seeing it coming down. It has to. We need to drive it down in order to keep building in something that we can talk about in the affordability family. Yeah. It's so important for especially first-time buyers and first-time move-ups. But you could tell. And if anybody has any questions, Dave, I should throw this out there. Last week, we had our leadership meetings as part of this. When we usually go to Orlando or Las Vegas, we have all our leadership meetings. Lumber was on the top of the list. Lumber's codes, and we had also the advocacy pieces with the new administration, and making sure that IBSx kicks off as in the state. But lumber right at the top of the list with that, and we hit it hard. We had a lot of speakers on it. We continue to bring in. We're going to have a new Secretary of Commerce who is the former Rhode Island governor.
Right.
Gina Raimondo, and she is fabulous. She's great with workforce housing, and she knows what it means for our industry to be successful, and affordability goes hand in hand with that. So full court press, Dave, to say the least.
Yeah, no, I mean, so there's a couple of things there. So just so that people understand, when you do these leadership meetings and you had a bunch of people speaking on this, I'm assuming, because I've not been to one of your executive leadership committees, so everybody out there listening understands. Are these speakers that are experts in the industry on the economy and on lumber and those things? So how does it typically work? So you have these big meetings, and then how does action take place afterwards? I guess is more maybe the question.
Fair question too. So we are fortunate enough that when we talk, we're talking to the actual cabinet members themselves. So either the secretaries of commerce and HUD. You remember I always talk about talking with Secretary Carson. Now we'll be talking with the new people in those offices, but it's always them and they're the directors right under them. So that is the administrative side, right? So that's that's Biden administration when you hear those terms. But of course, we're talking to the leaders in the Senate and the House. Right. So it's the speaker and the minority leaders. So all of those people and for the people that are running their teams, if you will. So that's on the legislative side. In what we've been doing too is we've been sitting right down with the corporate heads for the biggest production companies in the country. So when our leaders, when my team talks, and we always speak through our chairman on codes, for example, I was given the voice for our industry on some of the things as they heated up last week and the week before. We always speak as a team, and we always talk to the top officials. So it's not like we're we do plenty of this too through our members and everybody, individual shops in individual lumber companies that are all trying to work with us the same way. But we're talking with the decision makers, and that's why it's so critical that we get this down and work together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, politics aside, I just commend you. How cool is that? You get to work with the cabinet members in Washington, D.C., regardless of your political spectrum. I mean, that's just got to be an honor in by itself to do that. And then, you know, to help form policy on housing and be fighting for all of us out here that are struggling with the cost of lumber, with selling new contracts, selling new homes. You know, it makes it harder to sell new homes as a custom home builder and as a tract builder if your prices are going up. And, you know, to have you guys fighting for those rights and help fight for the economic, you know, benefits of the downturn of that lumber cost is a big deal. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny, Dave, and it's all done through our bill pack, as you know. I mean, we have to be very active in all those fronts in order to be able to have our advocacy team. But, you know, I was personally in the White House 3 times. I was at the State of the Union. I know all the cabinet members, you know, I have cell numbers. I mean, that's just what we do. And it's very exciting. That's why you spend as much time as we do. Because it's enjoyable too, but the headaches are, I mean, you know, we have a lot of things. Right. It's like somebody has a fire hose pointed at our industry every day, you know, and that's why I like to see us working, as we talked about earlier, the off-site and all the avenues that's opening for us. And as we see being able to develop those resources going hand in hand with some of our traditional stick-built people, it's what we need to do. It's what we need to do is expand the toolbox.
Yeah, for sure. So with the new legislation or new administration coming in, how does that look for housing? How does it look from your initial meetings with some of the new legislators that are in the Biden administration? Is it feeling like there's going to be some positive outcomes, or is it a struggle?
You know, it's great that you asked that question, Dave, because we're getting a good feeling. The Biden administration is putting housing as one of the tools that he needs to see in place. As his administration looks and focuses on what we're going to bring into the future, it's critical that we work with these initiatives where he is starting to bring that forward. When we look at a comprehensive finance reform, for example, that is one of the things that we've been waiting years for. And people will recognize the terms Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And that is very much needed, because right now, without getting into that too deeply, it's something that the administration is talking about. They mean it. They're trying to work through some of the pitfalls that we've all been getting hung up on over the past few years. And what does it mean? It means that the federal government will keep in place the backstop ensuring a 30-year fixed mortgage, so that we can see the buyers being able to enjoy the American dream and be able to purchase homes at a reasonable amount. If you took away government involvement in the home buying arena, you would see it too expensive, especially for entry level. You would force so many people, they would not have the ability to properly finance a home and be able to take advantage of it. And look what that does. It's the community it's the pillars of each individual's personal wealth. It's their community involvement even. And over again, we see that these things need to be in place. And this administration is going to continue on. You know, it's tough to picture too many areas the administration will build on the last one, but we're hoping that this is one area that we keep pushing this forward, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. So we're encouraged. Long and short of it, we're encouraged to work with the new administration.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. And somebody that's been sitting in the room with them. That's good feedback for all of us. Now, what about this new COVID relief package that's getting ready to come out? How does that affect things?
So and again, you're going to have a bit of difference depending on what side of the aisle you're on. But the administration that's enjoying some momentum because of the way that they've come into office. So the Biden-Harris ability to now control the Senate as well. Even though it's 50-50, you saw Vice President Harris vote to break the tie this past week. And where they are heading is that they're pushing for a $1.9 trillion package. The Republicans, Mitch McConnell in the Senate and the minority folks in the House, are looking more, they're still under $1 trillion, right? So somewhere in there. But the sides are talking about ways to come closer. Now, as an aside, that we have great ties with the problem solvers. Remember I told you how they have like 30 members on each side of the aisle, and they get together. They can't run against each other. Like if a seat opens up, it's great because this is where they come into play. They're right in the middle and they control all these votes. There's quite a few people. We just saw 10 senators offer up an alternative to the Biden 1.9 package. But to answer your question, what these things have in it, it's ability for small businesses, for associations. It has some home buying upside. It has a lot of things to get the vaccines around the country and distributed properly. There's many things in a package. I mean, with a price tag of $1.9 trillion, you're hoping that it does what it sets out to do. And it's happening. Something's going to happen, and we need every bit of it. In fact, I heard on the way in, we have to follow this, not only our own team and our people with our chief economists and where they get their information. You see our CEO, Jerry Howard's always on Fox, and we're constantly in those conversations. But right now, they're saying that if we put these safeguards, this is a good one. The former head of the Fed, Janet Treasury, and she's saying that this will potentially get us all the way out within a year. We're going to have to work at this and bring the deficit down and things, but we've got to get through this, and we've got to keep people working. We've got to keep people spending money on the right things and the economy going. That's what we have to do. And we're seeing good signs that this bill, the relief package, will be just in time and something we very much need.
Yeah, for sure. It's Buzz. No such thing as a free lunch.
Exactly. Buzz, that's what we're talking about, and see, Buzz, it's interesting because we're a conservative bunch. I mean, Homebuilder, we risk every day for the money that we make. I mean, that's what we have to. So we always look in terms of paying this back. You don't see builders in our industry and everybody that's involved at the trough looking for the free handouts. But yet, if you're going to be using our money, we want fair treatment too. But that's just it, Buzz. Is how long are we going to be able to pay for this? But the problem is if we don't survive it, and if we do not keep the trains running on time or as close as possible to it, we will dig ourselves such a hole that we'll be in the worst case scenario. We're already in debt. And now we've got to make sure to balance everything and get out of it the best way we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jennifer putting up some banners there. Thanks for the question, or I should say more comment, Buzz. Always appreciate. All right. Damien says, it is refreshing to listen to Greg speaking comprehensively as a representative for this industry. In Ireland, the Construction Industry Federation, CIF, is trailing so far behind by comparison. Well, how does that make you feel, Greg?
It is good. And I think, Damien, one of the reasons is too, we're a country that's set up that we encourage this. So, it's a blessing and a curse in a way. We happen to be very good at it, and we feel that we're doing God's work. We're representing the best part of society possible. We're putting roofs and safety of living in a home in the forefront. That's what we stand for, and we try to do it affordably so everybody can share in the American dream. But not everybody has the same ideals, say, and if you work and you pay, I mean, you can get a lot of different things. We saw some of the repercussions at the Capitol and things like that, but I appreciate that. And I'm glad that you look at it that way and see that our hard work does pay off. And we thank all our members for it. Without our members believing that we can do it as a group, we'd never get there.
Well, and that's it. And I've said this a bunch of times since, starting this show and being more and more involved every year with the National Association of Home Builders and some other organizations as well. You don't really get it until you take part in it, and that's the thing, right? You don't really understand how much has to happen to make change, to drive the industry forward, to lower lumber prices so we can help, the affordable housing. There is a lot that goes into everything we do. And without the associates and without the members, like you're saying, and this isn't a sales pitch, this comes from my heart. It's 100% true that, if we didn't have members and we didn't have the associates supporting us, none of us could afford probably even to work, let alone build anything.
That's right. That's exactly right. In builders and associates all working hand in hand, our remodelers. And Dave, here's an example. And we talk about this all the time. When I travel around the country, wherever I am, even in my own state, if I walk in, I introduce myself. I don't pretend I'm somebody else. We always introduce each other. Oh, I'm a member too. Hey, what did you think about those products? How did that work? Oh, come in. I'll tell you all about it. We don't worry about competition. If we can help each other and get each other ahead on using certain products or systems or whatever it is, we're all better for it. And to a fault, you need a plan? Here, when have you ever heard of people withholding, especially, sometimes the larger you get, they have to be a little bit more careful because they have, copyrights and systems. But the sleeves, you get in the mix and that if you help somebody one day, you're going to get it back. I can't tell you how many people have offered $500,000 for our plans, and you just send them over. And if you need some help, or we'll tell you structurally how that's going to work. And everybody does it. Everybody does it.
They do for sure. In fact, what's fun about this conversation is we have Jerry McCoffey joining us at the moment. I'm going to send him a quick hello here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, there's somebody that likes to share his knowledge in what he has going for sure.
Yeah. So, Jerry, I just sent you a message. If you want to pop in, I'd love to have your insight on how things are changing and what you're seeing at the National Association of Home Builders, right? And how we're moving this conversation along. Let me take this banner off and let's get back. We'll get to his comment and see if he actually pops in or not. He's a busy guy, though. Sometimes he's just in a meeting and he says, hey, I can't talk. But hey, busy is good. All right. Jerry says, I have to say, Tom Parlin of the CIF in Ireland is making great strides, especially in these tough times where construction has been completely shut down by government for COVID. Love it. Well, here's some banner going off, so let's see how it goes. Damien says, yes, Jerry, the COVID, Tom has played a blinder, keeping the industry moving by comparison to other industries. So This is the real conversation, right? This is what I love about the show and what everybody's doing. And I think whether it's Ireland, whether it's the United States, whether it's England, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, modernize or die, and some of these things. We all have something to learn from everybody.
Well, Dave, you're starting some of those conversations. The British government actually funded one of the studies that you're going to be talking about this week.
Yeah, modernize construction with Mark Farmer on Tuesday, February 9th, 7:30 to 8:10 p.m. That's almost past my bedtime, Greg, but I think I'll make it. I think I'm going to make it. So definitely.
You military guys still make it early.
Oh, I do.
Hey, tell everybody about how you were so happy that you got a military haircut a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I know. It's getting long. It's long, right? Look at it.
Yeah. You may need to take it down.
Well, we were in Huntsville at the Rocket City, and I have to tell you, big Navy or big military bases up there, and yeah, barbers everywhere. I mean, like really good barbers, man.
My fella's a Navy guy.
Is he? Yeah. I love it. And we went. I don't know if you saw any of those videos, but we ended up going to the NASA Space Center where they have it for the kids. Where they can go to NASA Space Camp, and
yes,
so, I'd love to have an opportunity, even as a grown-up man, to do that. Right?
Yeah. No, my brother-in-law is fortunate enough to have done some of the land planning there. It's just fabulous stuff.
Yeah. I love it. Your brother-in-law is in the service?
No, he's actually a surveyor.
Yeah. Very cool.
So
good.
His team is part of what's so they're on the civilian side of some of the work. They use a lot of the government contractors too. It's just fascinating. It's just big stuff.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the government, just like we do in our own industry, they outsource to the professionals. And there's some people that have the ability to do it better than others. I remember even when I was overseas in Saudi and Kuwait and those areas, it was a lot of civilian contractors working on the tanks. It wasn't all just military folks. So that's just the way.
Dave, one of the things just on that topic, when we look at other countries, we tried to get a jump here, and especially our industry. We had all sorts of prep that went into winning the designation of being essential. Yeah. And we went around the country and we won far more battles than we lost. We only lost a very few. But in Connecticut, for example, we've benefited in all of New England then. They followed Connecticut and Massachusetts, and we were deemed essential. Why is that important? Well, it meant that we could come to work. We have to social distance. I mean, I locked myself in my office. We have masks. Everybody, in D.C., you only have 25% allowance in your building still. So we have a lot of still near far reduced capacity. But being essential put us in over hurdles where we can still deliver products. That's why when you look at what young people are thinking at the end of last year, year over year, more people this past December in 2020, and I have the stats exactly, that really feel that we're going to see that they're going to be able to buy a home over the 2019. And we were doing okay in 2019. So just to give you the numbers, though, millennials and Gen Z were at, it's 37%.
37.
Yeah, in 2020 that it's going to be easier. It was only 23 when you look back at 19. So 37 over 23, and that's just with that group. And then also, here's where I got the, so more home buyers are looking to buy a new home this year compared to last, 41% in the fourth quarter of 2020, only 19% in 2019. And that was before the pandemic hit. So you're seeing what happened was that demand was already looking good as we started into 2020. We got hit, and now by the end, with the vaccine still possible and stuff, we're looking at 41% closing in on half the people think they can buy a new home.
Right.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good. We might, you got a few minutes? We might have Jerry joining us here.
Sure.
I'd love to see what he's doing at IBS. He was a keynote on a couple sessions last year.
Yeah, I think he's involved, right?
Yeah,
he's
for sure.
Now. Yeah.
We it's funny. We should probably go to the website and do our own little search, and we can find out what he's doing. It's simple, right? I love it.
I think John took it with him. Unfortunately, he took his bat and ball and went home.
No, I don't think he went home.
He didn't go home.
I think he's working his tail off and to get this show and be successful. Yeah. And I'm sure it's going to be great. 100%. All right. So if Jerry is going to join us, we'll give him a few minutes here. He can pop in. But if not, let's keep going on with what we want to talk about here. So we're seeing good trends in the new administration towards being supportive of the policies that have been put in place and hopefully new policies moving forward. We're seeing positivity in working with the new administration to help lower lumber costs and try and get the lumber down so we can get back to building the necessary affordable homes, because we're building for people. We're not, that's what people need, these things. And that's a big deal. And we got the COVID package that's also getting ready to come out. And I think, when we look at all of these different things, Greg, if you were to give us your future outlook for 2021 from your standpoint, are we going to see this industry keep growing?
Yes. I think that the headwinds are the normal headwinds that we see, and that is on the supply side, being able to get it through a heavy regulatory burden. One of the things that this administration will do is walk back some of what we felt were advances in our industry in the regulatory field. And so where we had the first time in quite some time, some running room to be able to get some of the nonsensical regulations that we face, I think some of those are through pressure are going to be stalled a bit and even walked back. Something we have to keep an eye on. So to answer your question, you have all these headwinds as far as being able to get entitled, approved lots into the market, units to be able to build on for multifamily, for single family. And you start seeing material prices, especially lumber, also being headwinds. If we're not careful, those things can really slow down what we see as such a benefit. And that everybody that we talk to, especially when you talk to the Office of the Treasurer and all these people that see the economic benefits of keeping a strong housing market, we were always the industry that took us out of recessions and kept us strong. Always we have been. Well, we're there now, and if we can work through some of these hurdles, we'll be there again. Yeah. And it looks, the demand is going to be there. There's a lot of pent-up demand, and if we can work it out and we can keep people employed, that's going to be the key. We'll knock it out of the park again.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. All right, I got a question from Buzz. Jerry says he's trying to come in, having a little difficulty, so we'll give him a minute, but we got some questions. Why does the NAHB and the modular offsite prefab folks get together and update our 100-year-old site stick built industry? So much to gain. All right, listen now. Hold on, where's it at? I got to find it. One second. Don't say a word, Greg. Soapbox time. Here's the soapbox. That's what we're doing. We're talking about how change happens, what we're doing. I come from the offsite world, and this is what's so great about having Greg on. Greg comes, from the traditional site-built world and everything that he's doing. And this is where the conversation starts. It's not going to be something that happens overnight. There's a lot of things in play on whether modular, panelized, concrete, whatever the case is, gets larger and bigger. But what we're trying to do is have that conversation, Damien. And I think, if it was up to me, yeah, I don't think anybody should be stick building. We should be using panelized and modular. But I'm also a realist as well, and I think change takes time. But the beauty of all of this is we're finally starting to see some change. We're starting to see some momentum in offsite. We're seeing more interest in it. If Jerry's able to get in here, you'll even hear from him. He is busier than he's ever been, and getting busier and busier. So my soapbox is the same as yours, Damien. It makes no sense to me why everybody's not doing it. But once you pull back the covers and understand all of the opposing forces, it's going to take some time. But we're working through that. Go ahead, Greg. I'll let you get on it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's exactly that. And Dave, you know that one of the things that we've seen, if there's been any feedback that offsite construction hears that we have to deal with, it's that, there's always been over-promising and under-delivering. Many things. A lot of times, nobody's fault other than regulation or you've heard even Dave talk about transportation hurdles and things like that. We have to get everybody working together. And from my personal view, what I see is that you need so many forces to try to join under one roof. Get everybody into one tent, as many as possible, so that the voice that you speak with becomes larger. And if we can do that, and people all of a sudden in the offsite world, there's so much at stake. And if you can carve out, if we find ourselves where people are carving out something and then they get protective of it rather than sharing, that's the biggest hurdle that we have. We have to work together. And that's part of what we're trying to do here. Many of us have tried panelization, different types of systems in everything. But we're driven by economics. If we could make it work on a regular basis. In New England, for example, we have full basements and very tough sites. That's why people like Dave were pretty innovative being able to bring it in. My company, we do so many homes each year that it's unlikely that we could just do a full scale, because we'd leave a lot of our sites taking years to be able to develop. So there's a lot of things that we need to work through, but it's so promising that you're absolutely right. It's where we have to go. Economies of scale, controlling your environment in which you build in, it's just there. Being able to meet all the regulations in one fell swoop, you're going to be able to do a lot of this energy conservation much easier. It's all right there in front of us.
It is. And Buzz, sorry, I was saying Damien, but Buzz, that's a great comment. And I think that comment needs to be put up more often to cause this conversation to happen, especially when we have other site builders and stick builders watching, because this is how the conversation begins and continues on. So Buzz had a follow-up comment, says the HBA folks look down on the other. All right. So Greg, I'll let you jump on that one. The Homebuilder Associations.
So the Buzz, help me with this. Is it HBA folks look down on one another or one group? I'm not quite sure I understand.
So I think just being in the offsite industry, like the HBAs, your locals haven't always been very supportive of modular and offsite. There's always been some contention there, and I know it was that way in New England as well. Probably not as much as other parts of the country, because we do a lot of modular and panelization in the New England states, and it's been happening for a long time. But Buzz, let me know if I'm right on that, or if I'm wrong. Please correct us if you can.
So Buzz, I think that I think there's plenty of us that certainly don't. You saw that at our housing showcase with HUD, and how many actual members of ours across the board that are looking every day at trying to find ways to venture out into that. Because remember, it's all driven by economics for us. If we can do it better that way. So I don't think it's looking down. I think there's a lot of fear. There's unpredictability. I think for a lot of people, there's even laziness. Like, why do something? Why not do it the same way? If your grandfather showed your father and now he's showing you, why not do it that way? That's just what you hear all the time. The way that we beat that is that you got to get creative people and a lot of energy behind taking the right steps forward. That's how we're going to get this done. And 100%. You can see it starting to happen.
100%. So Jerry's on his cell. He's having a hard time getting in. So we're gonna reschedule Jerry, but I think it would be good to have him and you on together as well at one point, Greg. I just sent him a message, said maybe he can give us an update on Wednesday about IBS and what he thinks. I think it'd be a lot of people tune in to hear Jerry, so I think that would be a fun update in the middle of the week at 1 o'clock, if it's not pulling away from something else that's going on. So we kind of kept our schedule light this week, so we're not pulling away from the speakers at the IBS, so, but we will still be going live. But it's going to be mostly IBS talk to support what's happening this week and show our gratitude for the support we've been getting in the building systems built council, modular home builders, whatever you are out there. We've been getting more and more traction, and we're very grateful. All right, Mr. Greg, let's see. I see one more comment popped up. Jerry says the 7 most dangerous words in English language. That's the way we've always done it.
Exactly.
I know, mate. Really? You know how many times I've heard that, or we've tried and we couldn't do it any better. We've already been down that road. It didn't work. I mean, we hear that a lot in the industry. You hear that a lot in every industry, but you're right, Jerry. All right. Well, listen, Greg, I mean, we're an hour and 10 minutes, man. You're a talker.
Yeah. It's funny. They just comment on that comment that Jerry just had. It's so true. I mean, in every organization I'm in, and I found, like, in hockey, I ran it for 15 years and I was president for 8. And I found myself that you hear some of the same ideas and we can't do it because of da. And I caught myself and said, no, you know what? I'm the person that knows why it failed last time. Why not try to address those right out of the gate and say, and we got a lot of things done because of that. You learn from your gut reaction, why not to, and you find ways to do it because it may be a short-term, even lateral move, but in the long term, you're going to benefit from it. You just do. The last thing. So Dunkin Donuts in our area. Remember how you used to have to make your own donuts at each shop? Now they have one location. I don't know if you know this, in East Hartford. It's like a couple, 3-4 football fields of donut making.
Yeah.
And they load up the trailer trucks and they send them out. So, like, buddies of mine own 8 at a time. They get them going and they sell them off and then bring in 8 more. It's wonderful. And you're always getting fresh food and coffee and everything. And it's because they dared to try.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, maybe I'm getting in the Dunkin Donuts business. We can set one up in all 50 states. I love it.
Yeah, because here's the app. No, I'm no dinosaur, you guys. I'm right at the cutting edge of all this stuff.
I love it. All right, here, Buzz got back to us. They looked down on modular or offsite. I owned a lumberyard for 49 years. There's some more. Let me get through them all. My old company just started a panel plant. And then if cars were built like houses. Well, Dave, I can tell you this for sure, Buzz. I keep saying Dave's name. Houses are starting to be built like cars and getting very customizable. You're going to see some plants that come out with only 5% labor. Imagine that, Greg. 5%.
Well, we keep saying one more, but you know what happened, Buzz, is that for a while, people, just like with OSB, they thought OSB was if you rained, it swelled. Well, with modular, people were looking at that it was 2 boxes glued together that leaked, and that was what it was. It's nowhere near that now. It's light years beyond that. The products that you all do. You even see Mike Weber and concrete being introduced.
Oh, yeah.
All these different advances. it's education and it's fear that's holding things back. We got to get over those hurdles.
I love it. I love it. And so everybody knows Greg has been a home builder most of his career. He's building a lot of houses in New England and Connecticut, you know, in the NAHB and the immediate past chairman stuff. These are not like big money paying gigs. You know, he gets some perks of traveling and getting to meet guys like you and me and girls and everybody else.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's definitely some perks in the networking. But the reality of it is, when you hang up this phone, you're still running a business.
That's right.
You know, just like the rest of us. And I think that's
right.
what makes this so much fun in the conversation. All right, a couple more comments from Jerry. Dare to try, so true.
Yeah.
And we also have built in a factory means quality. There you go. So this is going to be fun having Jerry on with us. We're going to invite him probably for the next show as well. I may have him on in interim if he decides to come on just to do IBS updates. Greg, we got to hit the road, man. It's an hour and 15 minutes. And hey, look at that. Damien says, thanks, guys. As always, very informative.
Good.
I
Lots
love
of good
to have these
talk
open
today.
conversations.
Lots of good conversation.
It is. It is. All right, Greg. So what's the most important thing anybody could do right now in this very moment, Greg? It's at the bottom of the screen. Hint.
Make sure to hook up with IBSx, please. You're not going to regret it. It's going to be so valuable. You're never going to get to talk to people. You know what we're talking about here, the education piece and the ability to learn new things? Look at all the highlights we even have just for the off-site part of what IBSx is. I mean, it's just all the things that Dave Cooper and others are doing this week. You got to jump on it. You got to jump on it and take advantage of it. And it's free to members.
It is. It is definitely free to members. So there you have it, everybody. That was our update in the kickoff to IBSx with Greg Ugaldi and John McGeary. Hear me now. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to having everybody out there. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say it one more time. Check out what's happening with the Building Systems Council. You're a member of the National Association of Home Builders. Please join the Building Systems Council as well. If you want to learn more about offsite, you know, Tiffany is just killing it over there, and Devin Perry's killing it over there. They're working their butts off to make this such a spectacular year for all of us. Greg, I love it. You know, thank you so much for your time. And why don't you plug? Are you speaking this year, Greg?
So what we end up going to many things. You know how it works, right? They take our calendars and they download everything. So it's like we just jump from one thing to another. So we're probably, you know, it's a lot.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is. Hey, when the world opens up, I had two ideas here. One, it would be fun to do a Dave Cooper live from the executive meetings and interview people after the board meetings at one of your big executive winter get-togethers or what have you. Just a thought I had while we were talking. And two, going back to what Buzz said, it would be a lot of fun if there was a way to work in the HB, you know, the Home Builders Associations to our conversation. So maybe we should reach out to some of these presidents of these you know, associations and invite them to have conversations with us. That might be another fun way to grow
So
what we're talking about.
You know, we've had John on. Remember, we had Judy in the past too, but we're always open for that. And if people have suggestions on what they would like to hear, we'll make it happen, you know, because we can bring anybody on that's involved in this, but those are good ideas. And you'll find that we benefit from any type of open conversation and communications like that. So
yeah, for sure.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, I do as well. All right, everybody, listen. Sign up IBSx. I'm Dave Cooper. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch because the cool kids are Twitch. And when I mean cool, Greg Ugaldi's there. That's how cool Twitch is. So I hope everybody has a great IBSx experience. Check in with us. We'll do some daily updates throughout the week. And please do whatever you can to go there and join right now. And don't miss our Modernize or Die interview with Mark Farmer, Tuesday, February 9th, 7:30 to 8:10 p.m. I'm Dave Cooper.
Tomorrow.
That is tomorrow. And this is the one, the only, the immediate past chairman, even though he's going around the globe one more time, Mr. Greg Ugaldi. Greg, thank you so much.
Thanks,
I love it. Everybody have a good day now.
Bye now.
Thanks so much. Bye.